It's like we're getting people trickling in. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll give everybody a few more seconds, 30 seconds to join. All right, I think we have a good group. We can get started. I see a few more people still popping in, but we'll go ahead and get started. We have a few more slides before we really get into the meat and potatoes of today's conversation, so I think nobody will miss anything. Thank you all for joining. We are so excited to have you all here. We're going to be talking about how to get the most from your job board or recruitment advertising spend. We know budgets are getting tighter and we're all trying to do more with less. So let's talk about some ways that we can do that. Before we get started, we always love to start with a few housekeeping items. Thank you again for being here and taking time out of your schedules to be with us. We love questions. So please feel free to pop any questions that come to mind in the Q&A box below. And lastly, please don't worry about taking any notes or screenshots. All of this content will be shared with you after the webinar. So grab your water, your tea, your coffee, sit back and let it all sink in. All right, on today's agenda, we will be focused on talking about what we're seeing and hearing from recruiters and talent professionals like yourself when it comes to sourcing and job boards. We'll also talk about strategies that you can implement today to get more from your budget, how employer branding impacts recruiting, how to attract candidates with better job descriptions, and places to attract candidates outside of traditional job sites and job boards. And lastly, how Sense can help you engage with your candidates simply, easily, and at scale. And that's the part I'm most excited about. So without further ado, I'd love to take a quick moment just to introduce ourselves. My name is Diane Melchionne. I joined Sense about 6 months ago as the Vice President of Customer Success. Prior to Sense, I spent just over 14 years at Indeed. I often describe myself as growing up there, so I've really spent my career in this HR tech and recruitment space. And I'm super thrilled to be joined by Alex Rosen today. Alex, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Diane. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today. My name is Alex Rosen. I'm one of the co-founders of Sense and run our product team. And I am very excited today, really, to learn from Diane, who is the expert on everything job. So this will be me and you learning together, I think.
I love it. All right. If you're not familiar with Sense, I'll give you a quick 30-second intro. Sense was founded a little over 7 years ago with a mission to build the first end-to-end talent engagement platform. And since then, we've grown to serve more than 900 customers across all types of industries. And more than our own results, we've seen our customers hit really amazing milestones, like connecting with more candidates, reducing recruiting costs, and speeding up time to hire, all while delighting candidates by creating really memorable and personalized experiences. All right, so what's going on in the space? We are reading all of the white papers, listening to our customers, podcasts, scouring the web, and we're finding that connecting with and hiring top talent is still the biggest challenge recruiters face. And in recent years, with the Great Resignation, it brought even greater competitive landscape for talent as many job seekers and employees rethought their relationships with work. With a newer approach to work from job seekers, hiring became increasingly competitive, and the costs of hiring rapidly increased. And today, amid economic uncertainty, budgets are being slashed while hiring remains competitive and recruiters are being asked to do more with less. All right, there are many job boards out there with different business use cases, pricing options, candidate traffic, and levels of competition from other hiring organizations. I'm sure you all recognize these popular brands, and I won't go into too much detail on each, but as a professional network, LinkedIn is great for passively sourcing professional talent and networking. They have 900 million users globally with detailed profiles. Indeed is the #1 job site globally with over 300 million active unique visitors per month looking for their next job, and they use a pay for performance pricing. ZipRecruiter aggregates job openings across multiple sites and uses AI to help recruiters identify the best candidates quickly. Each of these sites have different pricing structures, and the best option really depends on the needs and preferences of your organization. There are a few things we should all be doing to set ourselves up for success when it comes to getting the best ROI and decreasing costs. The things on this slide may seem self-evident, but I can't tell you how many conversations I still have where these fundamentals aren't in place. So let's dig into each now. Recruiting, like any department, is responsible for effectively managing their budget. However, most recruiters are laser focused on filling their roles, and reporting and analysis is often an afterthought. If you don't already have somebody on your team that's responsible for analyzing your budget and reviewing your sources of hire, find someone on the team that's analytically minded and give them this critical responsibility. As a leader, it's also a really great way to stretch somebody or give them a project that they can really sink their teeth into and oversee from start to finish. This person should be empowered to be the CFO of recruiting and make thoughtful, data-driven decisions on how your team allocates its budget. This is such a critical one. I can't tell you how many times I'm testing job applications or looking at different career sites, and I still see the dreaded drop-down menu of tell us how you heard about us. We all know candidate self-select data is notorious for being inaccurate because candidates may have senior role on multiple sites. They may select a random source just to finish the job application quickly, and they may not see the job board that they saw your original job post on. Also, applications should be quick and easy for candidates to complete this, and self-selection adds yet another step in the process. So work with your ATS, your job boards, to ensure there's automated tracking is set up and all applications are tagged with a source of application. This is part of what that owner I was just talking about will be responsible for. Or you can alternatively also train your entire recruiting team to do so and make it a required part of their workflow. Trackable job URLs help you know exactly where your candidates are coming from and provide a really positive application experience for your candidates. So once you have all that data, what do you do with it? You analyze, you analyze, you analyze. Many recruiters have preconceived notions about different job boards. They likely think about things that they've done in their past. I hired a great candidate from, Indeed in the past, or everybody knows LinkedIn, so it's the best. But these preconceived notions can lead them to feeling like they need to have their job openings on their favorite job boards or avoid job boards they don't like. But data removes the guesswork and shows you which ones are the best source of candidates for your budget. The most common metrics for measuring job board performance are, of course, cost per applicant and cost per hire. And many organizations account for other factors when calculating cost per hire, like recruiter hours, technology costs. But for the sake of measuring job board spend and your basic analysis, the budget divided by your number of hires is all you need. These metrics should be analyzed on a frequent and recurring basis, depending on how often you hire, so you always have the latest metrics available and know your top performing and underperforming sources of application and hire. Once you have accurate data in place that you're continuously measuring, you know which job boards are worth investing in. And this may change from time to time, which is why it's really important to keep a pulse on it. Your owner can circulate these learnings with the entire team to help them understand where the ROI is coming from. You can also adjust your spend on those core job boards with the goal of getting the most applicants or hires with minimal spend. You should also always be on the lookout for emerging job boards or technologies to try and test and see if you can get a better ROI somewhere else. And pro tip, if you want to be super granular, you can also dive deep and assess whether certain roles perform better on certain job boards. This way you aren't taking a one-size-fits-all approach and you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. Now that we've set ourselves up for success, let's take a look at how you show up for job seekers on these job boards and job sites. Employer branding is such a key way to attract talent and set yourself apart from your competition. An employer brand that showcases your organization is a great place to work. Helps you naturally attract more candidates without needing to invest additional spend. 60% of talent professionals say a strong employer brand increases their ability to source quality candidates. 88% say it sets them apart from their hiring competitors. And almost everyone, 99%, say it positively contributes to them accomplishing their recruiting goals. And it's really not just what TA professionals think. A survey from Glassdoor found that 86% of candidates look at an organization's reviews before applying to a role. Beyond just the recruitment impact, we're also seeing that consumer spending is getting directly impacted by the way employers treat their employees. With greater transparency of the internet, consumers are being more thoughtful about where they're spending and looking for organizations that genuinely care about their employees. So when it comes to your employer brand, determine what sets your organization apart from others. Is it your benefits and perks? Is it your work-life balance? Your commitment to DEI, employee development opportunities, your leadership, your work culture, your corporate social responsibilities? All of those are advantages in your recruiting messaging and on your employer review pages. Candidates also want to hear directly from your employees and will look at reviews before deciding to apply. A study from LinkedIn found that candidates trust the experience of real employees 3 times more than they trust the organization's employer brand messaging. The takeaway here is make sure your employer brand messaging reflects the actual experience your employees have. Work with your HR team and organizational leadership to organically create a positive employee experience, which will translate into a positive brand and have more candidates wanting to work for you. Job descriptions. They're likely the first thing a candidate sees when they're thinking about applying for a job. So how can you make sure you grab their attention? How do you tell them enough about the role and company so they're well informed before applying? I don't think I'm surprising anybody when I recommend that you include job titles that make sense to the outside world. You're including a summary with the role responsibilities, their objectives, the performance goals. You include any requirements about experience, education, and skills that you might have, the location of the job, and if there's an on-site component, what, if any, flexibility is there, the compensation range and benefits, and lastly, a company overview. Job titles include any industry experience level or work hour descriptors that help jobs stand out for the right candidates. For example, SaaS marketing manager, entry-level sales associate, or part-time sales associate. Keep your job title singular. Even if you're hiring for multiple openings, those plural job titles can negatively impact the top of the funnel traffic. And of course, don't include any exclamation marks or other punctuation, and make sure these titles make sense to the outside world. A marketing rock star, a sales ninja, or a retail Jedi may not make sense to job seekers, and it may not attract the talent you're looking for. When you're drafting the role and responsibilities in summary, be clear about what the employee will do day to day and what they'll be expected to achieve in the long term. Avoid any jargon or company-specific terminology. Include keywords and terms relevant to the role that will help get the job description in front of the right candidates. Use gender-neutral terminology. You never want to imply that you're looking to hire someone from a specific gender. And avoid including links in your job descriptions. This can sometimes hurt SEO on some job boards due to security concerns. When it comes to experience, education, skills, and other qualifications, be clear about what background candidates need to have so you attract the right applicants. You can include nice to haves if you're flexible on role requirements and want to generate a larger pool of candidates to consider. Role location has changed a bit. Many job postings still have a physical location in the location field, like Boston, but then they say they're open to remote candidates in the job description. Most job boards now allow you to include remote or hybrid in the location for the role. So make sure you're using these terms more frequently if you're open to remote workers. This is probably the biggest one of all right now, especially compensation and benefits. A candidate survey conducted by Sense found that compensation and benefits are still the most important factor candidates value in their next job. Including a compensation range and benefits attracts candidates whose expectations align with what you're offering. And many states and cities like Colorado, California, Washington, and New York City require salary information in job postings. And this has really created a larger dialogue around pay transparency. And it's resulted in many more organizations, including compensation ranges and job descriptions, regardless of their location. In fact, the share of job postings on Indeed with salary information has increased from 18% in February of 2020 to 43% in February of 2023. And candidates, they really want this information. A survey conducted by LinkedIn found that 91% of job seekers say a salary range in a job post affects their decision to apply. 89% of job seekers said a salary range is the most helpful element of a job description when deciding whether to apply, and 82% said seeing a salary range in job descriptions gave them a positive impression of the company. And lastly, the company overview. This is where you include your employer branding messaging. Despite compensation being the most important factor to job seekers, there are still so many secondary factors that job seekers value, like career growth opportunities, work-life balance, diversity, and inclusion. Include what sets your organization apart from the competition so you attract candidates who would be excited to join your organization. If you have a favorable Glassdoor rating, include that here and encourage potential applicants to check out your reviews as well. All right, so we've covered how to set yourself up for success, what job seekers are looking for in employers from job descriptions to employer reviews. And if you implement these things, we're really confident you'll see decreases in your time to hire or cost per hire. You'll see improvements in your quality of candidates and application conversion rate, all while providing a much better candidate experience. And if you're already doing some or all of these things, where else can you find success in attracting talent? First things first, reconnect with previous applications. You've already attracted these job seekers and likely paid for them with your recruiting budget of the past, and they've expressed interest in working for your organization. You can use Sense to quickly discover past candidates in your ATS who are a fit for new roles and send them automated messages to re-engage them. Secondly, collect referrals. Referrals are typically in the top 3 sources of hire for employers, if not number 1. They are a great way to connect with qualified candidates who are interested in joining your team because one of your employees is recommending your organization as a great place to work. And paying a referral bonus can be far less expensive than relying on job boards. Organizations with referral programs are usually able to fill a role in less than a month and say a referred candidate is 4 to 5 times more likely to be hired. Sense referrals can automate the entire referral process from sourcing through reward payouts. Third, ask your employees to share job openings on social media and encourage them to repost and personalize their message about why the job opening is a great opportunity or why they love working for your organization. Fourth, capture candidates via text to apply. These days, it's hard to see somebody not on their phones out and about. So make it easy for your candidates to apply by offering a text to apply option. Application processes can be clunky, long, and have high rates of candidate drop-off. If you include a text number in your job description to prompt easy applying, engaging candidates, and driving higher number of applications. Fifth, connect with universities and your alumni networks. Ask colleges and universities to share your job openings with their alumni network or current students. Colleges want their alumni to land great jobs after they graduate. Connect with relevant departments at your local universities or respected universities nationwide if you're hiring remotely, and ask them to share your job with their alumni network and soon-to-be grads. You should also build relationship with these universities and departments so you can consistently share roles with them. And lastly, connect with recently laid off professionals. Monitor layoff news in your industry, location, and reach out to candidates looking for new opportunities. You can search for candidates who are open to work on LinkedIn and Indeed, as well as monitor your feed for people who were recently laid off. Have your organization added to the many lists of organizations continuing to hire in 2023. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alex to talk a little bit more about how Sense can help you in your recruitment needs this year.
Thank you, Diane. Told you that she was the jobs expert. Oops. I think you stop sharing though. I'll just use, sorry, the first 2 slides. That's all. But yeah, so what I want to jump in here today is sort of 2 pieces here. First, I'm going to show you some kind of tried and true flows that Sense customers are using today. And then we'll show you some a demo of some really cool new tools that are launching in the Sense soon. So one, Diane just talked a lot about sort of, how do you encourage candidates to apply to your company, whether it's on a job board or by some other way. Now, what is key there, in this environment where these candidates are so precious, and we want to make sure that every candidate that we find, that we pay for, that we want to make sure that they, we know whether they're a good fit, and if they are, that we keep them. So that's where Sense comes in. So the really kind of 2 awesome flows here that we're seeing people using to make sure that you convert these candidates at the highest rate possible. So the first is, how do you use Sense on top of your ATS with a job board? So let's just say that you're getting candidates from Indeed, from another job board into your system. That's where Sense comes in. So when we find when working with our customers that actually a lot of these candidates that people are paying for aren't necessarily being followed up with, or even if they are being followed up with, it's taking too long. The recruiters are busy. The candidate might come in at 10 p.m. at night based on their schedule. It's taking sometimes days to get back to that person, and that's not what we want. So Sense can come in, right there with a chatbot. We can text that candidate, often in minutes, and kind of put that candidate through a first pre-screen. So you want to gather as much about this candidate while they are interested in talking to you, and if they've just applied, then they probably do want to keep talking. And then at the same time, you want to make sure that you're kind of getting back to that candidate as fast as possible, and you're showing them that you're there, and that this process is going to move forward and not be that kind of dreaded black hole that they might see with your competitors. So we're going to put them in that chatbot. I'll show you that soon. And then, based on what they say, based on that screening process, then we can move them right to scheduling if you want to. Again, really gives that candidate a kind of actionable feeling of, hey, this process is moving forward. I've got some time with the person on my calendar now, and they know, that something is going to happen. So going on to the next one here, Diane. And then also, this is also can be done really anywhere, that you're doing the hiring. So you might have a database of candidates. You might have, past folks that have come in for jobs that were kind of silver medalists on jobs that you haven't talked to for a year, and we also want you to use Sense there, so job boards are an amazing place to find the active candidates, but there's a very good chance that you already know a lot of candidates that you can work with too. So, again, you're seeing You're seeing this screening and scheduling, and again, kind of getting that person for first contact with your company, kind of nudging them along and being sure that they complete the process that you design. Let's see a couple of these things now. And I also wanted to share today some kind of brand new tools that Sense has recently is releasing now, that you'll soon have access to. So let me pull up here. So here we are in the Sense dashboard, and some new things that we've been working on Sense is the exciting new world of the AI. So this works really well and really like actionable with some of these tips that Diane gave you today, beginning with how do we write a really good job description, right? So this is where AI can help and at least get you going with something so you can get that role posted fast. So I'm going to go into the new Sense AI sidebar here, click on a job description generator. There's a bunch that we've made. How about we make a new one here? So maybe we'll do warehouse associate that I'm hiring here, and we can add more details or not, but I want to say, hey, it's important that's in a fast-paced logistics warehouse need to start ASAP because we always need people, right? So we're going to go here, we're going to generate. It just takes a minute here, and while it's generating, we're not only generating the first kind of draft of this for you to help you, but also we're giving you suggestions here, right? So let's just say I've got a nice draft here. It looks okay. I'm going to change the pay here. We're needing to pay more, say, but I also can add more. So let's say, okay, it's suggesting order fulfillment. Okay, yeah, like that makes sense to me. And we can also add, I want to add teamwork and the adaptability here. And I also, looks like the requirements are good, but I can just add more to kind of give me more keywords here. So we can go in and we can enhance it, and now all these are going to be added in now. And this is really cool because all of these work also with your current JDs too. So we're going to give you a score kind of based on sections that we see, generally performing well. And then also, if you just want to paste in, something that you're doing today, maybe we can give you some help here to make it kind of take it to the next level. So what we're going to do with this now, so I'm going to copy it. We've got it now. And what we can go now back is, okay, so how about making a chatbot, right? So, chatbot kind of, when you think about it, seems like this really complicated techie thing that is kind of not in reach, but this makes it really, really fast to now make a chatbot and begin to engage those candidates. So I'm going to go into making my pre-screening questions here. And okay, I'm going to make a new one. So I want to do it by the JD that we just had. It also can, have all your current jobs. If we're being synced in, it can go off of a job title, but since we just made this one, we'll use this here. And now what I'm going to do is go generate by AI, and we'll see what it's kind of suggesting that we ask here. And then we'll kind of go on to the actual chatbot creation process. Hopefully, unless we've confused it with this one. And if so, I've got it here. But what we're doing now here basically is analyzing all of the kind of pieces of this job and then making those pre-screening questions for the next piece. So while it analyzes those, this is essentially what the output of this is, right? So it's gone through, it's the exact same JD. It's, gone through and created, exactly what it wants us to ask. So I can now go through and I can ask it, okay, these look good. Okay, I might, we might not need shipment accuracy for this person. It's not part of this particular job. And I can go through, and of course, edit this, I can change it. But the point here being now that this is really a fully fledged bot now. It's ready to launch. It can be used on text. It can be sent by mail. You can use it in a QR code. You can use it anywhere. So some really exciting things happening here, for kind of the ability for you to move fast with your job recs. And that does look that while I went over there, finish, but these all can be really helpful. Even if you're not using a chatbot, if you're a recruiter, recruiting for a brand new role that you might not have seen before because they can come out of nowhere. You also could even just copy these, and then this becomes kind of part of your first call. And again, this is where we just went. We make the bot, and it's all set to go. So these are all ways kind of our goal is to really demystify this technology. So we have so we can get you these candidates coming in as fast as possible. So thanks for taking a look. I think we have some time for questions now, and also I believe that Mary is going to put up a poll now for anyone who wants to learn more, who wants to see kind of these in action. Just click yes here, and someone on our team will reach out.
Awesome. Yes, we have a few questions that I can just quickly check. I think the poll is still up as well. Great question. Do you think job boards will continue to be the main way companies source candidates in the future, or will new sources emerge? I wish I was a fortune teller, but I would say that I do think that job boards will continue to be a main source of hiring for the future. But with so many things, like Alex was just talking about, being able to put QR codes to launch a pre-screening chatbot. If you think about all the places where you can put a QR code, that could be another source that we've not normally seen in the recruiting landscape. So I anticipate for the foreseeable future, we'll still see job boards being a place of recruitment for sure. But I also see new places emerging.
Yeah. And Diana, here's one too about pay in the job title. Is it sloppy? Does it look good, or deter people?
So that's a hard one. I think in a job description, if you try to cram too much in, you're going to lose candidates. It looks a bit sloppy. Luckily, if you can, there's ways around suggesting what the salary might be. If it's entry level, including words like entry level, might be a way to suggest certain types of salary ranges, but certainly including salary in job descriptions is one way to ensure you're getting more traction from candidates, but also getting candidates that have already sort of an understanding as to what you're willing to pay for your roles. And you're not going down a path of chatting with a candidate, getting them further down the pipeline, and then, really seeing this disconnect in terms of salary bands. So I wouldn't put it necessarily the exact salary range in the job title, but certainly include it in the job description. And if you can use a a word or so to describe what it could be, that would be okay. Thought we had another one. What are some ways to generate more Glassdoor reviews from employees? So there's, in my opinion, there's a couple of things that I would do. Certainly after you launch an employee satisfaction survey or as part of the employee satisfaction survey, including, a blurb about requesting reviews, or please share your experience working with us on sites like Glassdoor and Indeed. That's a great way to generate more. Sharing in your company meetings how important these reviews are, and certainly also taking an active role in responding to those reviews on these review sites. It shows candidates that you're listening, that you're actively engaged in your employer brand, and you're really trying to provide a great employee experience.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And, and we see a lot of people doing that. I kind of think that it comes down to just ask. It's like something that I think, often it's like happy people don't even think to review, kind of is the trend. And if you can catch people, when you've done a, like a yearly or a monthly Net Promoter Score, then you can just ask, all your promoters then, and just, pass them over to wherever your kind of best review site might be. That might be Glassdoor, might be Google. And we've seen, really good success with that, with the Sense tools also.
Yes, for sure. We have another salary question. Some hiring managers are still reluctant to share salary range in the job descriptions. Do you have any tips for convincing them that it's important to attract quality candidates? That's a great one. I mean, part of this will be that, again, certain states, and I expect many more to follow, are already requiring it. And what we've seen with employers that have openings in those states, they sort of just apply it to all of their job descriptions. And because those employers are already doing that, again, job seekers are more interested and willing to apply to jobs that have compensation data in it. And so if you really want to stay competitive with these jobs that have pay transparency, that have the salary range included, it's really important to get ahead of the game now and start including it. And I think if you're worried that the salary range isn't competitive enough, or that may detract candidates, in the company sort of overview as part of the job description, or if you had any call outs from these your employee reviews, including those on the job page and the job description, as like, here are just some of the things that our employees have to say, may entice job seekers beyond pay if it's something that's somewhat competitive, but they're also seeing positive reviews from your employees included in that job description. That might sort of tip them over to applying. So I would certainly say that if you still have some reluctance from a hiring manager perspective, one thing is just to stay competitive with others is a reason to include salary ranges and job descriptions. And then, yeah, that's how I'd answer that one. All right. I think that is all for the questions that I see in the Q&A and in the chat. Again, thank you all for being here and for taking time out of your day. If you need to contact Alex or myself, our contact information is here on the screen. And we hope that you've taken some good notes. And again, we'll share this out with you all. Thank you all and have a great rest of your day. Cheers.